Welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, I should say, right at 8 p.m. on the East Coast. And I didn't know what I wanted to talk about today. I really didn't know what I wanted to talk about today. And I decided at the last minute, as I was chatting with other people, my daughter included, some videos that I'd gotten, something came to me. And the thing that came to me was this video and this concept. And I found videos based on this concept of what's happening in our schools today. And I talk about education all the time, right? Often from a more of a political stance, obviously, mostly from political stance. And that counts here too. But I also talk about how a lot of our young men are struggling. And this kind of comes together in a very odd way. And there is a YouTuber from Australia. Her name is Haylo Hayley. I happen to like her very much. She is trying to kind of make sense I think she's Gen Z. It's a Gen Zer trying to kind of make sense of what's happening. She often teases her own people, her own generation often, and takes it from a different twist. So I'm going to put her video here, and she talks about a trend. And the trend is talking about a Chromebook challenge. Now, the Chromebook challenge is a very specific thing in where people are youngsters, particularly young boys, are basically beating up and destroying school property to be cool and doing what boys do. Not excusing it, just explaining it, right? And it's part of a larger piece. And that larger piece is the idea of what's called low GPA activities. And low GPA activities is kind of like a thing that acts as an insult, right? Oh, you're doing it because you have a low GPA. You can't graduate high school. You're dumb. That's one thing. And something else in that, well, see, it's because the F students, those are the geniuses. Those are the inventors. See, that's why. Neither of those is true. But that's okay. I think you'll enjoy it. Let me pop her up. And before I pop her up, guys, you know what I'm going to ask you to do. You know it's going to be fun. So click the button known as like. Do it. Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Please click that button now if you haven't already. I don't know why you hate students. Why would you do that? But clearly you do if you don't click it. So click that button now if you don't mind. Please. I'm going to pop her in right now. Hold on. Let me, she can be a tad loud, but that's okay. I'll excuse her because she's Australian. That's my excuse. I hope that, I don't know if there's, did I just insult Australians? I don't know. I happen to like Australians, so maybe I just insulted you.
I cannot believe the challenges that go viral nowadays. Because if you go on TikTok
low GPA behavior
right now and you try to search up the term, quote, low GPA activity, TikTok bans the search by saying this phrase may be associated with behavior or content that violates our guidelines.
So it's so bad that literally TikTok banned it. TikTok said, we're done. Nope, can't do it. TikTok banned it. Now, why would TikTok ban this? Because what they're doing is literally a crime. Let me be very clear. It's literally a crime. What these kids are doing is not a silly prank, which some of those are pretty bad. But what these kids are doing, it's literally a crime.
And the reason this is happening is because that phrase is associated with videos like this. POV, a kid in your class sticks lead in a Chromebook and now the computer is smoking. Now, that video has since been taken down off the platform because...
Of course it has, right? I get that. Again, it's a crime, and right? But the worst part is, this is a thing. This isn't happening like one time. This is a thing.
Obviously, TikTok doesn't want to promote this dumbass behavior in classrooms, but that doesn't mean that the damage hasn't already been.
Look, the fire trucks. Now this goes, by the way, this part is dumb government. This part's dumb government, right? This part. Now, the kids are wrong. But why would you send 3 trucks because of this stupid thing? Why would you? You know why you will? Because if you don't, somehow you'll get sued. And idiot judges will take these cases, and greedy lawyers will go out there and do it, and people get paid. Because why didn't you send 3 trucks? You should have sent 3. You didn't send it. Then they make dumb rules. The government then makes more rules saying every time something happens, you've got to spend more and more money on this, all that stuff. No. Mike says, are we talking about kids eating Tide Pods? That was fine. That was just them hurting themselves, which again, not good, but that's you being dumb at home, eating a Tide Pod. Bad idea, terrible, but you're not burning down the school. Big difference. right? Again, both bad, but this one way worse. Both bad, this one's way worse.
Done. Because if you look up the Chromebook challenge on TikTok, you can find hundreds.
They're literally showing how they can destroy their Chromebooks that are, by the way, given to them from the school budget.
If not thousands of videos on TikTok of videos posted from all across the United States of other kids copying this trend.
The challenge encourages kids to stick items into the port of their school-issued Chromebook to trigger sparks and smoke. It causes a thermal runaway, generating up to 700.
Now, usually when we look here at TikTok, full of women. These, all young men, boys, mostly boys. I mean, some are young men, but almost all boys. They're all boys, all of them.
150 degrees of heat and toxic smoke. Reports of this challenge are popping up around the country, and in Fayetteville, the fire department says they've seen similar cases.
Yes,
now,
all over.
Something that irks me the most about this trend is it shows how little these kids care about their school's resources and not.
They don't care. That's the point. They don't care. That this is the greater issue, right? Have young boys been mischievous? Sure. Of course, they always have been. Have they, like to Mike's point, did you eat Tide Pods and stuff? Yeah. I mean, again, not saying it's a good idea, but that's been the norm. This is a little bit different. This one is like setting fire to your school. This is actual crimes. So this is a level above that, is all I'm saying.
Not just their school's resources, but their parents' finances as well. Because what high school student is going to have the money to be able to replace a computer? High schools already don't receive enough funding as it.
Okay, that's a lie. Schools receive tons of funding. The problem is all the funding goes to administrators who don't do anything. So yeah, that's where they go. Just to be clear, that part's wrong. Everything else she said's correct. That part, no, they get tons and tons of money. They just doesn't go to the right spot. But yeah, that part's not true.
So not only are these kids making it more difficult.
And they haven't left the room because this thing's on fire. They're still recording it, right? They're still recording it with emojis. Yeah.
For their schools to function with the little resources they have, but you're also forcing your parents to pay money out of pocket that they do not have because you want to do a stupid TikTok trend?
No. Yes and no. They want to do a TikTok trend, but not for the reasons you think, and they don't care about their parents. They don't. They don't.
So before you act like a complete fool, just remember that Chromebooks can cost anywhere from $100 to $1,000 to replace. And you wouldn't do it to your own laptop at home. So
would you? You might. You might.
Don't do it to someone else's. It's as simple as that. Y'all, the superintendent had to beg us not to commit arson because.
Beg us not to commit arson. That was his answer. Yeah.
It's only Thursday.
It's funny. Alita says, I love her pronouncing frowning. Yes. She has that. I can't even do it. It's just so to you. It's that deep. Yeah. Phil's teasing. Moose. Yeah. I can't even do it. I can't do it. You. Whatever she says. But yeah, still, I don't care. It's all good. Dave goes on to say 3,000 after tariffs. Let's not forget tariffs. Absolutely correct. Let's not forget tariffs.
And 17 kids are already suspended because of the Chromebook challenge. One kid shoved graphite in a charging port. It started smoking. He panicked and poured his entire Gatorade on it. It's
because that'll fix it.
Fucked and started smoking. And then 3 periods later, he tried to redeem himself by pouring hot glue into his charging port.
Makes total sense. So I started the fire, poured Gatorade on it, then poured hot glue. That'll fix it. Done.
17 individual kids were suspended from this person's school.
Note it says here, 0.0 GPA activities. That's the cool thing. That's the cool thing. Like they decide, is it 0.1, 0.5? 0.0. What is it, right, for level of GPA? What is it? That's how that kind of works. So it's kind of funny that's the level of activities. 17 from the same school. Yes. Yes.
Simply just because of this challenge. That is almost an entire class of students trying to destroy laptops that are the school's property. That means 17 different computers at one school in 1 week have been damaged beyond repair because of this trend.
Yes, that's accurate.
And the school won't be able to perform as efficiently or as optimally as it did before because...
Well, no. The schools don't perform in the first place. If the schools performed, this wouldn't be a problem. They don't. The kids still can't read. So I get her, which I get where her heart's in the right spot. She just doesn't get it. They don't. If they were actually performing, this wouldn't happen.
Because of the sudden lack of their resources and their technology.
It's not because of resources and technology. That's not the reason.
Maybe I'm just out of touch. But what exactly does one get out of doing this? You won't get TikTok clout because they're blocking this trend.
They're boys. And this she doesn't understand. I'm not mad at her for this. She does not understand this. I'm not mad at her for this. They're boys. They don't care about TikTok. Girls care about TikTok. Boys don't. They don't care about TikTok. Boys care if the young men around them think they're cool or alpha or whatever is the cool term of the day. That's what they care about. Does their peer group think they're cool? That's what they care about, whatever the word of the day is, right? Top G or whatever it is for the Andrew Tate stuff, whatever that thing is. They care that they're that thing. That's what they care about. They don't care about TikTok. And she thinks we're doing it for TikTok clout. No, they're not. That's why they don't care if TikTok takes it down. TikTok taking it down doesn't affect them at all. No, they took it down and the kids still do it because the boys don't care about that. They care about their individual peer group going, yeah, that was cool. That was awesome. That's all they care about. That's all they care about. Andrea coming in hot. They are preparing for a job in the federal government, break equipment to get bigger budget next year. I wish you were wrong. Andrea knows this. I tell this story often. And those of you in the military know this. The federal fiscal year ends in October. When it ends in October, what does that mean? In September, what are you doing? Well, if you're in the military, you are firing all your rounds in September. Everyone's going to the range in September to fire all the rounds. I remember us going to the range. I used to run an armory, and we would just sit there and fire all of our rounds, just 50 cal rounds, right? 60 rounds, just firing everything, getting it all out. And I do remember breaking some stuff. She's not wrong because you have a repair budget. Right, back in the day when I was in the Marine Corps, the night vision goggles you would strap onto your actual head. Now they're on your helmet, but these you said I strap one separately. You'd have a separate one. You'd strap right there. That would be your night vision goggles. We had a bunch of those, and so a sledgehammer happened to hit a couple of them in September, so we could buy new ones. She's not wrong. So they're learning. See, they're going to be great government employees, Andrea. See, they're going to be great government employees. TJ, thank you for $2, my friend. Should be Generation N for nihilism. Sadly, that's true, TJ. I wish you were wrong, but you're right again. The problem is when they see no hope, that's what they want. They want this, right? Leela says, it's just how boys are. Not that violent. No, Leela, that's a newer thing. Were there violent boys when you and I were in school? Of course, but not to this level. Not to this level. There were other things they were doing. There were other things they cared about. School has been failing boys for decades. Been failing boys for decades. This is a culmination of failed school. The boys don't care. Boys aren't going to college anymore. Why bother? Boys aren't looking for jobs anymore. Why bother? Boys are checking out. I tell you about it almost every month. You hear me talk about how boys checking out. They don't care. They're not doing it. They are walking away. So who cares if they get suspended? They don't care. Who cares if they don't get a high school diploma? They don't care. Who cares they have a low GPA? They're not going to college. They don't care. They don't care. Their parents are there's a trend which I may talk about also. Another trend that I saw. Someone else sent me this one. This idea of, parents aren't even talking anymore. The millennial parents, holy cow, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Don't worry, Gen X screwed up too. But millennial parents, I don't know what you're doing. I don't get what you're doing. Gen Z, I don't know what the hell Gen Alpha, I don't know what the hell Gen Alpha is. Gen Alpha is just a disaster, right? A disaster. They're worse. It's worse. So that really is the issue. So yeah, absolutely. Alita goes on to say, I'm sorry, boys don't receive actual brain maturity until around 31 years of age. Not that we should excuse such antisocial behaviors. Yeah, I mean, that's been true for years also, right? But it doesn't matter. If we give boys purpose, if they feel they have purpose. I remember when we were in like clubs and stuff when I was in high school, like you being the future farmers of America or something, because you were going to be a farmer, or you were going to be in the Boy Scouts because you were going to be an Eagle or whatever. You were doing something, or you were in shop because you were going to go build something or be a mechanic or whatever, right? That was the kind of thing that boys kind of had a thing they were going to do. They don't have that now. Now it's you got to get good grades. Why? Because good grades. Good grades, I know some of you are upset about this, don't matter. Good grades are irrelevant. The question is, what are you going to do with those good grades? Getting good grades for good grades' sake is not only stupid, it has no value. Getting a grade to go do something with them makes a lot of sense. And the kids don't know. The boys can't see what the good grades matter for. We haven't shown them that. They don't believe it. And if we have to, we've done a bad job of it. We've said taking tests are good for the sake of taking tests. Taking tests are useless unless you have a reason to take the test and what's going to happen for that test, right? As you keep hearing me say constantly, don't go to school, don't go to college unless you have a plan. If you have a plan, awesome. These kids don't have plans. These kids don't have hope. These kids are in trouble. Yes, absolutely. So that's an important piece. And she doesn't get it. She doesn't know any better. She thinks they're looking for TikTok clout. They're not.
As they should, and deleting most of the videos posted about it. So at the end of the day, you didn't even get the virality you wanted out of this.
They didn't want virality. That's the point. They don't care.
All you got out of this trend was a $300 fine and a suspension to show for it.
No, my dear. You have made a serious error here. What you got was all your boys around you going, man, that was cool. Yeah, you took a hit, but that's fine. You did good, man. You did good. Yes.
Harm yourself and others, which is going to result in a $300+ fine. And
the point is, these boys aren't even afraid of their parents. Think about that. They're not even afraid of their parents. And worse, they don't respect their parents. Now, when I was a kid, would I have purposely done something like this? No. Would I by mistake or something stupid? Maybe being stupid or something. Maybe. I mean, I was a stupid kid like anybody else was. But would I have purposely done this? No. Not because I feared my mom. I didn't fear my mom. I feared my dad, but my dad passed when I was a kid. I feared my dad, but I also wanted to make him happy. But I respected my mom enough, and I knew how hard she worked to pay our bills. I would have never made her pay $300 for something. Never. If I would have done this stupid stuff, I'd have got my own job. I had a job when I was 16. So I would have went and gone to work. If I'd done something dumb like this, I would have gone to work and paid her back. And she would have insisted on it, and I would have. So I would have done it for that reason, right? But these kids, there's no punishment for them. What's going to happen? They're going to come home. They're going to go to affirmation therapy with a therapist who's useless and say, oh, how'd you feel? Change nothing. This is a systemic problem. Larry, you're going to do systemic? It's just personal responsibility. Bullshit. They're teenagers. It's not. They're teenagers. It's not. If one or two guys do it, yes, it's a problem. But when it's 17 in one school and it's literally a TikTok trend where TikTok has to ban it, it's that popular to where I can find it all over the place on YouTube. And I had to go through multiple. There were like 4 or 5 people doing this. I can find this. That's how common this is. You can put it on YouTube and you will see it. Low GPA activities. It's a whole thing. You can see it. That makes it by default. It's systemic by default. This shows that our school system is failing our young men. It's just another example of how it's failing our young men. It's another example on how the millennial parents have not reacted well to this at all. The change has come so fast. Millennial parents are not ready for this at all, and they failed also. The system has failed. So are the millennial parents, and we are raising a broken set of people who don't want to work, who don't want to be part of society, who are antisocial, to your point, Leela, who just don't care. That's what's happening. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Out of school or out in school suspension.
Out of school or in school suspension. What the hell is in school suspension? You know what that means? Will still be daycare for your parents. Yeah. Will still be daycare for your parents. That's what that is. Yep.
So let's not be dumb and make idiot decisions and stick pencils.
And the teacher says, we've already had to suspend someone today for it. Teacher says that. I don't think it's working. Yes. Yes.
So let's be smarter than that and finish later strong. Thank you.
But
No one
the
cared.
F students are the inventors.
That's the response, by the way. The response is, well, the F students are all the inventors. So these are all the great kids because they're all bored. So they all would be doing great stuff if it wasn't for, the bad. Well, there's no doubt this is most trends. There is a piece of that is true. And it has been exploded to encompass all these people, right? Some is true, but that's a small percentage. Yes. Patty says, I've been told by teens and college kids, there's no future for me. So why should I care about school now? Yes. We have raised, and I say we as a nation, I mean, this last generation has no hope. You're not wrong, Patty. I see it in my daughters. I'm both of those are Gen Z. I see it in them. And we're talking about Gen Alpha. I see it in my daughters, and they're Gen Z. And think about Gen Alpha. And we talked about this on one of our shows recently. I forgot what it was. When I was a kid, Patty, when you were growing up, you're not a similar age. When we were growing up, we were talking about going to the moon and having moon bases and cool stuff. We thought it was going to be like that. We thought we're going to have like jetpacks and flying cars. We thought it was going to be stuff like that. So we thought we were positive when we were growing up. We thought, we're gonna win. We're gonna win the Cold War, and everyone's gonna be happy, and Russians and us are gonna be shaking hands and be buddies. We thought all that stuff. Boy, were we wrong. But now Gen Z's like, oh, no. There's no positiveness. It's all just pain and debt and war. That's all it is. So who cares? And they can't find girlfriends. They can't find boyfriends. They can't find good jobs. That's why this is happening. That's why it's happening. Phil said, if these are inventors, don't institutionalize them. Well, there we go. Yes. Patty says, Larry, we were going to be the Jetsons. Yes, you're right, Patty. We were going to be the Jetsons. Well done. Patty, well done. It's exactly right. We were going to be the Jetsons. That's true. I mean, we're not, but we were going to be. We were going to be.
Look, you can believe that you're the main character all you want by setting your laptop on fire or drilling a screw into your laptop's computer. But at the end of the day, this is why you're an F student. It has nothing to do with your teachers being unfair. It has everything.
It actually does. It actually does. Many of the teachers, the vast majority of teachers in America specifically are all female. They're all female. Now, does that make them bad? No. But it means there's now no male perspective in most classes. And there should be one. Lara, are you being sexist? Maybe, I don't care. Young boys are different than young girls. They just are. If you don't think that, okay. You don't have to think that if you don't want to, but it's utterly true. How can I tell? Every one of these people doing this is a boy. Every one of them is a boy. If it was 50-50, you might be right. They're all boys. Yes, they're all lost boys. Now, is school fair for them? No. School is absolutely skewed for young girls. It absolutely is. Good for the girls. I'm not mad at the girls. Good for them. They got a cool school system. Good for you. Awesome. But then what about the boy part? What about that? Phil goes on to say, single mothers lead to toxic masculinity. Another piece, lack of fathers. Yes. My kids would not do that shit. You can guarantee or if they did once, never again. I can guarantee that. Never again. No doubt. They might do it once, maybe, because they're doing something stupid and kids are dumb. Maybe. Once. And whatever money I'm paying for that computer, They're paying me back with interest. They're paying me back that's going to less thing I learn. But Dad, it's my birthday. Should have killed a computer. I was going to drop $50 on your birthday. Good luck with that. What about my cake? Shouldn't have showed that computer because you're not going to no cake this year either. That'll teach you. Your 15th birthday, you got nothing. There we go. Next time you won't trash the computer, will you? Christmas is coming. Gonna be a light Christmas. So I'm telling you, there's no doubt. So yes. All right, let me keep going here. I'm looking over at Rumble. Peace, thank you for the $1, my friend. A lot of kids can be lost by the learning style they need. You can absolutely get an F and be an innovator and genius. True. We do not all learn the same. True. AI might help with creating personalized training. And this is the next piece. I wanted to put this up here, piece. You went right down the road, took some of my thunder, but it's fine. You were thinking it's good. I'm glad. You're smart. You knew. I want to pick up that piece if I could. And that's the future, as I talked about last week. That's the future. School is going away. It has no choice. It doesn't work anymore. I mean, it hasn't worked in decades, but we had no other answer except boys bad. That was our answer. Sit down, shut up. More federal guidelines. That was our answer. Now school's virtually useless. And you're saying, Larry, you're exaggerating. I'm not. All you require is a tutor to move you through things to make you learn stuff. That's it. AI can do everything else. Not even joking. Just one tutor to pull you through the right things, a human being to ask questions, a human being to guide you through things, a little bit of rules. You could just go into an area and use AI the entire day. You'd learn more, be happier, be more interactive, have more excitement, be able to move down things you want. Otherwise, we're going to get this. This isn't going away. What's their answer going to be? What do you think their answer will be? Their answer should be, it won't, but should be, wow, the system is broken. We should change the system. No, not at all. We should punish them more. Yes. We should take some stuff away. Yes. We should add more security. Yes. We should add more administrators. Yes. We should hire some consultants to figure out why they're just doing it. Yes. We should spend more money. Yes. That would be the answer. But change the system? No. How do I get paid? I don't get paid for system changes. They're doing that. They will grift this until it collapses. They will grift it until they have to shut schools down. That will be the next thing. They will do it until they have to shut the schools down. I wish I was joking. I'm not. That's the actual answer. Grab a couple of these if I can. All right. Robert says, these videos are not contributing to people wanting to build families. Being single and a cat lady, or whatever the male equivalent is, never sounded nicer. Robert, again, you guys, you're getting it. I wish you were wrong. Robert, I wish I could tell you you're full of it, but you're not. You're exactly right. I know it was JD Vance who was screaming about cat ladies. I think a lot of women are like, oh, cat lady sounds fine to me. Like they're not. Is a cat lady a dog guy? Is that whatever the male equivalent is, right? Whatever. So whatever. Yeah. So we're all going to be cat ladies and dog guys or dog gentlemen. Whatever the opposite is. Yes. Cat men. Whatever. But we're saying, yeah, we're fine with it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm agreeing. I think you're totally right. Again, I wish you were wrong, Robert. But I see this. That's a problem. That's an issue that we're dealing with that I'm so bothered by. You hear me talk about it often. I would like people to meet people, have friends, have family, have girlfriends and boyfriends, husbands and wives, children if they want them, big families that want them, small families that want them. Have a cat if you want to. But I'd like people to not buy cats because they think that's all they can get. I'd like them to buy cats because they like cats, right? It's fine to buy a cat if you like cats, but do it because you want a cat, not because I'm not going to have a family, so I'll buy a cat. People do it. I don't want that to be the reason. I want it to be because you like cats. So Matt said, perfect. I'll take a vasectomy for $500, Alex. Yeah. And sadly, Matt, I know men who are doing that. And they're not that old. I get it if you're like 50, 60, like, look, I'm done having kids. I got a couple kids. I'm done having a vasectomy. I know guys who are in their 30s, no kids, are like, nope, snipping it. Damn. And I'm meeting more and more women I meet. I have to ask them, so you looking at having kids? And it's like 50-50. If this was 30 years ago, the vast majority would be like, of course I want kids. Of course I do. Now, don't know. Big difference. I'm agreeing with you. This is an example of this. It's an example of societal failure, specifically school failure, and they're not going to change until the schools start closing. And the schools will eventually start closing because parents will simply refuse to send their kids. They'll just stop at one point in time. And the wealthy will start first. The wealthy and the poor will stop, right? The working poor will stop and the wealthy will stop. Those who will just stop sending their kids, they'll just stop, right? The very poor, the people, I'm sorry, not the working poor, the non-working poor, they will stop, right? And then the wealthy will just stop. The wealthy will put their kids in the private school or AI, and if they come down, they'll just pay money to the powers that be to stop bothering them, which is what they do. Or they make private schools that are basically AI schools, and they'll just spend money to leave me alone, which is what the wealthy do. That, and the people who be screwed is the middle class. The working poor through middle class, they're the ones screwed dealing with this. They're the ones gonna be screwed. Not the very poor will stop also because they don't go to work. So they'll just keep their kids home. It'll be a waste of time. They'll do the same thing. And they'll put their kids to work probably. What are you gonna do? Come after them, put them in jail? You could. And we will. I mean, we will. We will then put those parents, the rich parents won't go to jail because they'll be officially going to some kind of school that they pay for. The poor won't be able to. So they'll just arrest them. But it doesn't matter. If you're non-working poor, you don't care. Okay. Still get my check. And now you can take care of my kid now. So you pay for my kid anyway. Oh, well. Either way, you're paying for my kid. Doesn't matter. But we're dumb because the system is all that matters. All hail the empire. The empire must exist. That's all that matters. The system is all that matters. Who cares about you as an individual freedom and liberty? That's for idiots. All that matters is the empire. And as Spock said in Star Trek, original Star Trek from the 60s, Terra must be maintained or the empire will fall. So Terra must be maintained. That's how it works. Spock knew that. I can't say back in the 60s, or should I say ahead of time, because it was like the 2400s or whatever. So I don't know. Anyway, the TV producers knew that 60 years ago. And somehow we've forgotten or don't want to know. So yes. Peace is over on Rumble. He says, thank you for the $1, my friend. Even though I had an amazing mom, when my dad, an officer in the Air Force, went off to war for more than a year, I was the worst version of myself. Yes. I applied for a credit card in my dad's name. I get it. Dude, I lost my father when I was 11. And I went from being, and this is true story, I actually still have the receipts for this. I showed my daughters this. When I graduated elementary school, all I wanted to do was to make my father happy. I won every academic award in my elementary school. Every one of them. Art, science, history, math, English, every one. I still have them. I was so proud showing my dad this. I won every single award, elementary school, academic. I swept every category. I was top of my class, elementary school. I swept every category. I still have them. Like I could show. I gotta find them. I still have them. I was so proud, making my dad so happy. Then my dad died, and I barely graduated high school. I had to lie to graduate high school. I'm not even joking. Because I had failed a couple classes. So I had to go to those teachers and convince them the reason why I failed because my dad died. I didn't tell my dad died. My dad had died like 6 years earlier. I didn't tell him that. I just said my dad died. I wasn't lying. Well, I was kind of lying, but I wasn't. I was stretching the truth. How about that? I didn't tell them that it was years ago. They're like, I didn't know your dad died. Yeah, he died. They felt sorry for me and gave me a D. So I graduated high school because I stretched the truth with my teachers to get a D so I can graduate high school. But I actually get a Regents diploma in New York State. I did. Larry, how'd you do that when you didn't have enough credits and you had a D? Because I just walked into the test and took it. They weren't paying attention to me. So I went and took the test, passed the Regents test, passed my test. So I got a Regents diploma anyway. Because back then, you used to pass the test and have X number of credits, whatever it was. So I didn't have the credits. I just took the test anyway. They didn't pay attention. They just went, okay. Because they're bureaucrats. He took the test and passed it. Therefore, he gets a degree. I knew that when I was 17. I knew that 40 years ago. It's only gotten worse. With technology, it's still worse. That's how so peace, I'm with you. I went from being the best student in my entire school to having to lie to graduate high school when my father died. I was a disaster. So I joined the Marine Corps. I joined the Marine Corps desperately looking for positive male role models. And you will hear me say this often because I mean it. Literally, the Marine Corps saved my life. And I mean that literally. The Marine Corps gave me the positive male role models that I desperately needed. Now, I'm not saying everyone should join. I'm not saying that. I do not believe in a draft. You should join if it's right for you. It was exactly right for me. It was so right for me. It's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I needed. I'm so glad I did it. It saved my life because I was lost. No doubt. And why? My father was gone. I get it. Peace. I'm with you, brother. I felt it. I'm with you 100%. I'm with you. All right. So we're way off topic. Let me keep going.
To do with the fact that you're intentionally destroying school property for a laugh instead of using that time and that effort to get your grades up.
Because they don't care about the grades. That's the point. Grades for grades' sake is useless. Grades for a reason is what matters. So look over to Instagram if I can. And it is Mahima Gabrielle says daycare for parents. There we go. No, parents need to take responsibility. I agree. And I think to bring this point to bear more than anything, right now, if you see millennial parents are struggling, Gen X parents and boomer parents aren't helping them, and Gen Z and Gen Alpha are paying the price for that. And our system is still broken. Our system can't change. The problem is all of these issues we're dealing with are government issues, right? Healthcare, school, all run by government, and government cannot be nimble. It can't change quickly. It just can't without utter destruction, which is why we ask for guys like Trump to come in and break everything. That's why we ask for Elon Musk coming to break everything. Why? Because we know you can't change it any other way. It doesn't change. I hear it all the time. We got to reform. It doesn't work, does it? It doesn't happen. So we take whatever we can get, which is often terrible. But yeah, it happens. Yes. Peace goes on. Thank you for $1, my friend. Oh my God, I barely graduated high school too. Okay. So Peace, you and I went through the same shit, brother. Me and you went through the same thing. Absolutely. My chem teacher had mercy on me and gave me a D. That was after summer school. How weird. Synchronistic. Yes. Yeah. I had to convince. I was selling my stuff back then. 2 teachers I had to sell. Yes, 2. Absolutely. All right. Let me keep going if I can.
You can only blame the school so much for you.
No. I can't blame it completely. Oh, no. I can't blame it completely.
Being an F student. At some point, you have to take accountability. And it's not.
They are. They're getting suspended. They're okay with it. Look, they're so okay with it. They're filming it and putting it online. They know they're getting in trouble for it. They know they're getting in trouble for it. They're utterly taking accountability for it. They're putting it online. They're saying, I'm doing it. Whatever. Let's go. They're taking total accountability.
Just your own grades you're putting into jeopardy. It's also your own damn classmates. Because while a lot of them are just trying to do as much work as they can in class with the time they have, you're completely ruining that by having to force the teachers to evacuate the class for God knows how long because there's a fire in the room. So
she's not wrong. This is terrible. I want to be clear. I'm not saying this is a good thing at all. This is a terrible thing. I'm sure like a classroom could be on fire and people could die. This would be terrible. I'm agreeing with her. My thing I'm not agreeing with is you're just a bad guy. She's falling back to what so many people do. Let's just shame the boys. The reason why they're here is because we've spent the last 20 years, 30 years shaming men. That's why they're here. That's why the fathers aren't here. That's why the fathers have walked away, because the court system has destroyed them into pieces. And look, there are times when men take children away from women. It does happen. And I want to make sure there are some women who have been crushed by the family court system. It does happen. But it's 95 to 5%. It just is. It's 95% men getting devastated. And they get devastated. They get scolded. Toxic masculinity. Everything is bad. All this kind of stuff is bad. Don't go into the trades. We need tradesmen so badly. Don't go into trades. It's for bad kids. It's for dumb kids. Don't do that. Kids like, I want to work with my hands. I want to build stuff. That's what I want to do. No, that's for dumb kids. That's for bad kids. Don't do that. That's what you get. This is what you get. It is a systemic issue.
You're impeding on their learning. And on top of that, you also ruin the chance of students in the future being trusted to be able to use laptops or pens.
Yes. And how is that their fault? So to be clear, because this is what she's right. This is what will happen. Oh, you screwed up. Now everybody pays. How is that good? Again, a broken system, right? That's why we're screwed now, because there was a boy who did something stupid 20 years ago. So now all the boys are toxic. All the boys are bad. Everything has to be stopped because one boy did something stupid. No, make the one boy who did something bad pay the price. Don't change everything and wreck everybody. And by the way, who do you punish? Only punishing the boys, not the girls. That's how it works.
Or pencils, because you wanted to be brainless. So others are currently being punished and having these resources taken away from them, even though they had nothing to do with this Chromebook challenge.
Yes, correct. But again, you think the Chromebook challenge is because the Chromebook challenge. It's not. It's because I want to be cool in front of my boys.
And that is not fair. It's getting to the point where teachers are getting so desperate.
Look at this. Are you an idiot? Are you an idiot? Alternatives consider. Just don't. Growing a brain. Critical thinking. So more shaming. Shaming's what's got us here. Where's the answer for the kids? Where's the answer for the boys? There is none. It's you're an idiot. You're stupid. Shame, shame, shame. You think it's going to work? Has it ever worked? I mean, no, you know what? It did work. But as I told you all last year, and you're seeing it here everywhere, Larry, you're some kind of Nostradamus. Yes, I am. I am. Yes, that's why you watch me. I am. I told you last year what this election was about. Americans are tired of being scolded. We're tired of being shamed. Stop it. Either provide an answer or shut up. One of the two. Now, you don't have to. You have freedom of speech. If you want to shame, you may. Please shame if you want to. Just understand the results are more of this. And if you're okay with that, keep shaming. You will get more of this. Or you can stop shaming. Either one. You pick. Freedom of speech. You want to keep shaming, go ahead. But we're tired of it. So it doesn't work anymore. In fact, now, because you shame us, now we double and triple down. So the activity or behavior you don't like, when you shame that behavior, you get more of it. Lara, how do you know that? Did you happen to see Kanye West's new song? I did a video on it. Can you go further than that? I mean, maybe, and if you can, he'll go there. If you can go further, he will. He'll figure it out, and he'll go there because you shamed him on that too. It doesn't work. More shaming. What is their answer? Shame. More shame. Once I don't care, your shaming fails. Do you think you can change the world with shaming? They do. It does not work.
To make this trend stop, that they have to approach the IT students in their schools and ask them to make signs to hang up.
They don't have to do that. That was the only thing I could think of. Because what else could you do? Why? The school's full of women. Yes. It's 80%, 90%. In certain schools, 90% of teachers and administrators are women. Yes. I've told you this a long time ago. Many of you get mad when I say it. Sometimes a young man needs an ass whipping. I know that's crazy. You need it sometimes. And it should be by his father, not by school. Not by school. Not by government. Dad should be there to grab him by the back of the neck and lock him on to what he should be doing and then say, you owe me. You owe me. You take responsibility for what you did and you owe me. Let that happen a couple times. It'll stop. I'm not even joking. It'll stop. Why? Because what a young man wants more than anything in the world is another man that he respects to say, well done. That's it. Young men will do anything to get that. And when I say anything, I mean literally anything. It does not matter what it is. It is irrelevant. No matter how crazy, odd, silly, self-destructive, it does not matter. They will do anything to get an older men that they respect to say, well done. That's literally why gangs exist. I wish I was joking. That's why gangs exist. Because older men that they think are cool or powerful or strong, when they go do something crazy, go, good job, well done. That's it. That's what they want. And sadly, women don't think the same way and don't get that. They don't get that. Women very often react to shame or worry or social pressure. They often do. Not always, obviously, but they often do. And boys don't. They don't. They will go against everything. Always remember, the guards in the camps, you know, the camp I'm talking about, every bad camp that there's ever been, always young men. Always. And they always will be. Always young men who will do anything, no matter how horrible you can imagine, anything for an older male to say, well done. When you get that about men, you can fix this. When you don't get that about young men, you do this stupid shit, which doesn't work. You got me yapping. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Around the school.
I'm sorry. I do want to grab one more. I'm looking here over at Rumble, and this is my BA lady. She says, same with me. I barely graduated. I was a math nerd, so I always got an A in that, but C's and D's and everything else. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, very true. Peace goes on to say, you have to make learning interesting. That's what teachers are so important. Not just interesting, not just that. Yes, but also purposeful. Why am I doing this? Why do my grades matter, right? Why did I didn't want to finish graduating high school. Why would I bother? Wasting my time. I didn't want to go to high school. I went to my Marine Corps recruiter and he told me, he goes, you got to finish. When I went to the Marine Corps, I wanted to join immediately. I wanted to go to boot camp the next day. I'm not joking. I was like, can I go tomorrow? Like, I have nothing here. I will go tomorrow. I was like, I'm in. I'll go tomorrow. Literally. I was like, I will leave tomorrow. I was still in high school though. He said, no, you have to graduate high school. I said, why? I don't need high school. He said, no. If you don't graduate high school, you can't get any type of guaranteed job. You will just be an infantry no matter what you do. That's what you're going to wherever. Marine Corps, you be an infantry, be a truck driver, whatever Marine Corps needs you. I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to be in some kind of decent job. He said, we got to finish high school. That's why I finished high school, because there was a purpose to it. I literally would not finish high school. Why? Useless for me. Useless for me. Why would I go to high school? Because I was going to get a job. Marine Corps said, if you get a whoops, fucked up my sorry about that. The Marine Corps said if I get an actual high school diploma, they guarantee one of my a job for me. I went, okay, I'll go to high school diploma. That's why I got it. I didn't care. So yes, interesting, but also there has to be a purpose. That piece does matter.
So that they can try and prevent other kids from participating in this trend.
Smoke or to fry the motherboard, you will automatically be charged $300 and you will have to explain to your family what you did. You only have these computers until Thursday, as in a week from tomorrow. Do not charge yourself $300 before then. They are not your computers. Quit messing with them.
Thank you very much.
And
they were literally laughing at her. It's terrible. Terrible. Okay, here we go.
Are so many kids kicking up a stink for getting into trouble for doing this trend. Like, how do you think your teachers feel? I understand that you may not think this is a big deal because it doesn't affect you, but it's not just you. It's not just your fellow students. Hell, it's not just your teachers being affected by this. Because actual
she's not wrong.
firefighters and police officers are being called to schools over this trend.
She's right, and I think it's terrible, but we've got to fix it. Scolding is not the answer. A better system, a more interesting system, that's an answer. Using AI, giving some purpose, that's an actual answer. I've been talking about forever. TJ says, do you think apprenticeships will make a comeback? I think those would actually teach practical skills for specific fields you want to go into. Yes, it's already happening. You're already finding Gen Z started this trend. Gen Alpha will absolutely do it, particularly with boys, girls too, but particularly with boys, they're totally ignoring college and going right into trades and apprenticeships. There was I forgot who mentioned it. Oh, I saw it in a video somewhere. One of the best jobs now out of high school is welder. You start like 70K a year or something. I'm making the number. It's some good number like that. You might go 70K. Is that good? When you're 19, yes. I know a lot of people who are far older than 19 who don't make 70K a year. So if you're 19 and you can make 70K a year welding, and more importantly, and have no school debt, come on now. And if you can still live with your parents for a while, save up some of that cash to buy yourself something, get something, whatever. It's not a bad deal at all. And they're sitting there going, what? I'm going to become a plumber. And then they're seeing AI and watching a total swath of people being laid off. The layoffs are, what's coming from AI, slaughtering us, particularly women, sadly for women. Mostly just, I did my show I did the other day. I showed you that mostly women are going to be, it's already the apocalypse that's happening with women now in the workforce. Oh, it's just going to get worse. If you're a woman working right now and you think AI might get rid of your job, AI is going to get rid of your job. Start changing now, shifting now, or learning AI something. Start shifting now because you're done for. If you're over 40 or over 50, if you're over 50 and you're a woman, you get laid off. If you don't have AI skills or you're not in trades, the odds of you ever having a full-time job ever again, slim to none. The odds of you having a job at your level again, zero. Never going to happen. You got to change. You got to start thinking now. So to your point, DJ, apprenticeships, yes. And for older people also. They won't be apprenticeships just for 16, 17. There'll be apprenticeships for 40-year-olds, 30-year-olds. Yes. Why? Usually we wouldn't want someone who's 40 to go into the trades. They're too old, blah, blah, blah. Those days are over. Number one, you can be in better shape now if you want to be. If you want to work hard, you can be in better shape at 40 than you could be in the past, number one. But number two, they need tradesmen so bad, they'll take you. Work for 10, 20 years and retire. I got nobody. Only people I got is migrants. I got migrants, or I got someone who's now 35, 40 who recognizes, you know what? This college degree stuff was stupid. My job that I had was dumb. I was lied to. I got to pay some bills off. Let me go be a welder. Let me go build some houses. Let me go be a plumber. Let me go be a handyman. Let me go do something. Let me build something with my hands and let me start taking a shower at night instead of in the morning. Let me start doing that. I think, yes. That was a long way of saying yes, TJ. So, yes. Michael says, thank you for your member, Michael. Education system is based on a Pavlovian response system designed for industrial labor. True. When our system, which is my entire point, Michael, government cannot shift quickly at all. It can't. It doesn't do that. Our system was made for the idea that you would sit in a room all day, learn stuff, so you could go into a factory and do stuff, right? That it was made for that. And to be forward, it kind of worked pretty good for that. It wasn't bad at doing that. But if that's your goal, take your population, learn enough, let them to sit in a row, do the thing, so they can then go into a factory and do the thing. It's not a bad system if that's your goal, right? Not a bad system. College was supposed to be, back in the day, a way of breaking you out of that, so that you could become a leader or a manager or whatever. That was what it was supposed to be. That's not true either, right? College is also just an indoctrination center. So even that doesn't work anymore. So the original system of the K through 10 or K through 12, it was 1 through 10 or 1 through 12 originally, right? So that was perfect for shoving you into a factory or into the military, right? Fine. And then college was supposed to be for the smart kids, the managerial class, right? The college boys, right? So that was supposed to be for. Now K through 12 doesn't work at all, and college is an indoctrination center. Both of them fail now. So yes, I get what you're saying. I agree. So let me keep going here if I can.
Instead of being called to somewhere much more important than stupid kids destroying their laptops and causing the smoke alarm to go off. And I wouldn't be making such a big deal out of this trend if it happened one time and one time only. But
She's
that's
right.
the thing. The authorities have been called several times to several schools all over the country. So clearly, this is a much bigger problem than I think most of us thought it was. It's most likely going to get to a point where 911 is going to get fed up over being called to schools over this Chromebook challenge. That the police are just going to straight up start charging y'all. Oh, but what do you know? A 15-year-old from New Jersey has been charged with arson and...
So that's the answer. Take the kids who are already lost and broken and put them in juvie. That'll stop them. Because you know what always works? Jail. Every time, right? Look at it. You know, we put people in jail for murder. There's no more murder. Oh, wait. It's fine. We put people in jail for drugs. There's no more drugs. Oh, wait. Okay. That's fine. We'll just put this time jail will work. Okay? This time. We put the terrorist guys, I don't want to say the word, the terrorists, we put them in Gitmo, and that works. There's no more of that. Oh, wait, there is. Huh. It's almost as if jail doesn't solve our problem. Ever. Huh. It doesn't. So what do? The empire. We will have order. Terror must be maintained, or the empire will fall. Put them in jail. What could go wrong? So you got a 15-year-old kid who's done this, and now you put him in juvie. What could go wrong? He's finished. You've just ended his life. Well done yet again. Fix things? No. Put him in jail? Hell yeah. There's money in that kid being in jail. You got it. Yes. Anyway, all right, let me grab a couple of these. Matt says, to be forward, though, I just don't want to have the extra expense of a kid with this economy. And my ADHD makes me selfish AF. And I don't want to be strapped down, having to abide by someone else's schedule. Now, I get that. Look, here's the reality, Matt. If we make a better environment, to your point, most people will have kids. We know this always. That's always that way. If you have a better environment, most people will have kids. Some won't. Some don't want kids. And if you don't want kids, dude, you should not have them. I am not someone who goes, everybody should have kids. No, we don't need that. There are enough people in our country, in our world, who would love to have children if the environment was good. There's tons of people who want to do that. Most people do. We don't have to force or judge. Not required. Make a better environment, and most people want to have kids, and they will. When the environment's crappy, like you're saying, people start getting scared. When we can't find partners, people start getting scared. When we don't trust our partners, people start getting scared. Yes, when we can't see a future. Why would I want to have kids if I don't see a future? And I have heard this part is the most depressing part. How many Gen Z, not alpha millennials, Gen Z people I've heard say, why would I want to bring kids into this world? Patty, me and you were going to live like the Jetsons. We wanted to bring tons of kids into this world because we thought we was going to be on the moon or whatever, flying around jet cars. We thought we were all good with it. Gen Z, they're like, why bother? Matt, you're saying it too. I get it. I'm not mad at people for not wanting to have kids. How can I blame them? We have to have a system to where people want to have them, and then most people will. And those who don't, fine, enjoy your life, live your life. You do you. Enough people will want to. They'll make up for you. Totally fine. They'll make up for you. Absolutely. So, Duke, thank you for the $5, my friend. People should monetize their skills outside of employment. Yep. I was a union carpenter and started a handyman service on the side, $100 an hour average. Yes, I agree. When I was an English teacher, I used to take students on the side. That's how I became a coach. One of the reasons why I became a coach, I could take students on the side. Yeah, made a ton more money on students on the side. Individual tutoring has always been more powerful. And the wealthy want... you hear me say it all the time, the wealthy, the wealthy. Why do I talk about the wealthy? Do I worship them? No, but they get the best. Why? Because they're wealthy. So I watch what they do. They all have tutors. That's why my kids all I paid for my kids to all have tutors. Of course. I saw the wealthy do it. They do it. I'm doing it. Because they're getting the best. So they have tutors. I'm getting tutored. And I was a tutor. I was also a tutor myself. So yes, the guy who couldn't graduate high school was a tutor, and a highly paid tutor. Yes. Even I can't say coaching because I can't be a therapist right now. So even my coaching services are very expensive. Why? Because I'm good at what I do. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Thank you for the $5, my friend. Joel says, government destroys the economy so people can't afford to have kids. Government wants some people. Government imports legal aliens to replace the population. Yes, yes, yes. True. That's what I've been saying for a long time. Absolutely true. This migrant crisis was not a crisis. It was absolutely on purpose. Just no doubt. Absolutely on purpose. Everything I was talking about, it's not like I was the only guy who knew that. I wish I was that smart and savvy. I was the only guy who knew this. No, they knew it. Of course. If I know it, the elites know it. So when I say all these things, the elites already know it. That's why they're doing it. That's why I'm right so often, because I know what the elites know. And I go, this is happening. And they're doing it. You see it. Absolutely. So yes. All righty. Leela says, the teachers do not get paid unless your kid's butt's in the seat at school. Yeah, the amount of cash goes down. You're right. It goes down. The administrators get punished. That's why they force you to go in. That's why they put you in jail. Yes. 100%. Yes. All righty. Mike says, the true empire of man has one emperor god and won't show up till the 30th century. Empire of man is over 10,000 years old and counting. Well, I know you're talking about other things, not. I get it. But yes, we have to survive till then, Mike. We have to survive until your 40K time. We have to survive until then. That's the issue. So yeah, that's the problem. So anyway, Patty says, if the parents had broken parents, there's no role models for generations. True. And I brought that up before. Yes. Yeah, that's an issue. Imagine if you didn't know, if you didn't see it, and now you have to do it. It's tough. I agree. All right, let me grab some more of this.
Criminal mischief because of this trend after uploading a video of themselves sticking a mechanical pencil into the laptop port. So it actually has gone to that point. And honestly, do you think it's worth being charged with arson just for a mindless TikTok trend in?
Yes, he does think that. Do you think they don't know this? This is my point. You're thinking that the boys don't know this. They're young boys. They don't care. They feel undefeatable. They feel unkillable. They feel like they're cool and savvy and all. I'll say it one more time. All they care about is someone looking at them going, "Well done," or their peer group going, "You the man. You did that. You the man." That's fine. If I had to do time for that, do the time. Like they'll do time. Okay, I do 4 years. Yes. How many gangbangers do 5-10 years to keep their gang boss happy? Happens daily. Daily. Yes.
Hopes to get some attention when they'll just take down your video and completely ban the trend anyway.
They don't care about the video, my dear. You're not getting it. You're thinking like a young girl, not like a young boy.
No. It isn't worth it. Look, I understand that every generation has
This, by the way, has been going on for years.
their own dumb challenge. Trust me, I come from a time where there was a new dumb challenge every other day. But unlike the planking challenge or the Tide Pod challenge or the mannequin challenge, this is a literal crime. But hey, nobody's stopping you from doing it to your own laptop because then that is perfectly fine. Do it as much as you want. You should.
Yeah, but you don't get the kudos for that. If I just trash my own laptop, I don't have my boys tell me how cool I am. There's no risk of me getting in trouble. There's no risk of burning the school down. Therefore, I'm not brave. And if I'm not brave, I don't get the respect that I crave so much. The biggest issue that men want more than anything is respect. More than love, more than admiration, more than anything is respect. And people on the street, particularly in gangs, die every day. Prison too, die every day over respect or lack thereof, or a perception of a lack thereof. They want respect. Bravery gets you respect. It literally is that simple. That simple. I want respect. And if I can't have it, whatevs.
Be allowed to do what you want with your belongings, but you won't. because that's a waste of money then, isn't it?
It isn't about the money, my dear. It is not.
Exactly.
Nope. It is respect.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video.
I thought you guys would enjoy that one. There was one piece I did want to grab, though, that is a similar piece. This one talks about, this is from a couple years back. This is why I bring this one up. This one is a couple years back, and it was a thing called diabolical licks. That was a thing years ago where kids were, and boys, were literally stealing things. And they were putting it online so people could see it. Just stealing like stuff from the school so that people could see it. So yeah, let me show you this one. This is just a couple seconds of this one of kids literally stealing stuff and putting it online like it's cool. This is a teacher going, I can't believe they caught me. I made a mistake. I couldn't catch them. They were stealing everything from my classroom. I'm not joking.
Can't believe they caught me lacking. Huge ceiling tile.
They stole a ceiling tile.
Is gone. View board pens have been finessed. Was able to stop a kid from taking this though.
Stop the kid from taking that. There was a thing they were just taking everything.
Stay safe, y'all.
TikTok, of course.
First week of school and already with the most predictable lick.
First week of school and they're stealing someone's.
This that pretty boy music you feel on the streets, man. You in the gutter, man. You got bitches.
And then they go online and show people. Yes, this was a trend for years. They go into the bathroom and steal that. Why would you steal that? What? But that was a thing. So they were just stealing stuff. They were stealing entire commodes, entire things. This, by the way, is 7 minutes of them stealing things. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but that was just 7 minutes of them stealing things. That's what that was. That was like 2-3 years ago. So they were already doing crimes. And they were like, what's next? Okay, we've been stealing stuff, and they've been stopping us from stealing stuff. So now what will we do? I know. We'll burn stuff down. That was the next thing. So yes, this is boys trying so hard to just gain the respect they want so badly. So yes. Lila says, career women do get crossed by family court. Oh, sometimes true, yes. It does happen. It does happen, Lila. You're right. It does happen. Yes, it does happen. 100%. All right, see if I grab a couple more of these comments if I can. Lila goes on to say, men and women select your partners carefully. True. Absolutely true. Yes. Americua over on Rumble says, humans are affirmation whores. That's how we need people to tell us that we're right. Right? We do. We do. Looking over at Instagram, and if I get it right, Mahima Gabriel says, if I was still a child in childbearing years, there's no way I would bring kids into this present society. Maybe Europe is better. Anyone know? There's sadly a lot of people who think that. I hate that people think that. I get it. I just can't stand that they actually, did that. Yes. Andrew says, I got my Reeds diploma in 2016. Didn't think it really meant anything special. It doesn't. It's a colossal waste of time and money. They should get rid of it. It's a colossal waste of time and money. No, and I say this all, I've been saying this since 2016. When I'm sorry, 2018 when I ran. Never has this happened, Andrew, ever. Someone says, let me check your resume. Let's see here. Looking for a job, Andrew. Mr. Woodell. Okay, let me see here. Oh, says here you got a Regents diploma, New York State. Well, you are hired. Never happened, never will happen. Never happened, never will happen. Nobody cares. The Regents diploma is a colossal waste of time, money, and energy. It means absolutely nothing. It has no value at all. None. It just makes more administrators think you have to go through something. My daughter was looking at it. I remember she was looking at it when she was going through it. She's like, well, do I want to go here? That I said, who gives a shit? She goes, what? Who cares? Well, my teachers don't know anything. It means nothing. It is irrelevant. Just graduate. I don't care how you graduate, where you, it doesn't matter. And then I think I told you this story. Her last year was during COVID. So in her last year, I was like, don't go to school. She's like, what? They'll graduate you. Like what? I said, I know the system. The system is garbage. New York City school systems are garbage. And if that makes you mad, I don't care. They're garbage. They're just utter garbage. They will pass anybody. Our kids can't read worth a goddamn. That's true. My mayor 2 years ago finally said, we're going to teach the kids to read. He said those words. I did a show on it, showing him saying that, his words. He's proud of himself. He's so proud. Eric Adam, teach kids to read finally. What have you been doing for those years? He said that. And I said, don't go to school. What are you going to school for? So I put her in college the last year. And they graduated her. Of course, I said, they'll give you a diploma. They'll graduate you. She's like, if I don't show up, they'll graduate you. They will. New York City's not going to take responsibility for a kid. They never do. Then to your point, Leela, they don't get paid. If they don't have a high graduation rate, they don't get paid. And they want you to go to college. So if I have you enrolled in college, they get points for that. They're not going to not have you graduate. You're enrolled in college already. By default, they're going to say yes. Because that goes in their checkbox to get paid. And you're going, Larry, that sounds horrible. Yes, and true. And I knew it. And it literally happened. I said, don't go to school. Get enrolled in college. They'll graduate you. Because then they get points for it. They don't care about the kids. You think those administrators care about the kids? Some of the teachers do. I'll be very forward. Some of those teachers really care about the kids. Administrators do not care about your kids at all. I know some of you, I know administrator, he cares. No, he doesn't. It's a number. It's a number. Your kid's a number. Your kid is a way of them getting paid. That's it. That's how the system works. Don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. Administrators bent to my will when I showed up because the last thing they wanted me to do was to mess up their game. They got cash coming. When I showed up to my daughter's school, they acted. If I didn't, they did not act. They didn't care. They didn't care what I thought. They didn't care what my kids thought. They were scared Larry Sharpe was going to show up to school and then go say some stuff, go do some stuff, and they were going to get in trouble. They knew I knew the system. Didn't say anything. They don't care. I know it sounds horrible. It's still true. So anyway, this part here I'm going to show you. This is a part that goes for, this is the F students are inventors. This is the excuse they use. See, it's not bad. All these kids are amazing and super smart. Okay, I'm sure some of them are, to Peace Logic's point. I'm sure some of them are. Most of them aren't. But I'm sure there's some. You can probably find one. There's probably like an Elon Musk or Bill Gates or whatever smart kid, whatever. Who's the Apple guy? I'm sure there's some of them in there. Just not many. Just not many.
The idea that those with the lowest GPA or F grades are secretly the smartest and most inventive people in the room is a fun one to play with.
It's
fun.
Makes
for easy content and structure within
also true. It is fun. I agree.
Digital spaces.
And then you got the F students. The F students are inventors. They're so creative that they couldn't sit in class because whatever people were trying to put in their head, they knew it was fun.
Yeah, see, are there some people where that's true? Yes. There are some people who knew that it was garbage the whole way through and they're super smart. Right? The Einsteins, Einstein was a bad high school. Of course. But that's not all of them, right? I don't want to take the 10% and say it's 100%.
After all, almost every human lucky enough to receive an education has been through this experience.
True.
They've either been the student with failing grades who was so bored that they goofed around and did something so stupid it's genius, or they saw someone else do it. I have my own story. During my
Yes. So anyway, I don't need to show any more, but that's the point, right? I wanted to bring up. So Mike says, I disagree. The consequences of hyper-feminist indoctrination push hurts women too, just later in life. And society as a whole suffers. I didn't say there wasn't. I'm saying not in school. I'm agreeing with you, Mike. I think we're all suffering in the long run, but in school, women are doing great. The problem is that doesn't translate to the future. It was my entire point of all the women getting fired now, right? Now the women get the mass layoffs now are affecting women more than men. If I remember right, I saw a video. Someone sent me a video. I forgot who sent me the video, but it was a guy talking about the actual data right now. And the data right now, the last quarter, Black women were the largest demographic by percentage to be let go. Yes, Black women get the worst by percentage, according to this video. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't know why. Maybe it's wrong, but it tracks with what I've heard. That's what I'll say. But I do know, I have seen data. More women than men are being laid off now. Now, again, part of that's because men have checked out. So they were already gone. So part of that is men were already gone. But the hard part is those men who are already out of the system, they're accustomed to it already. They're like, I'm out. I don't care. You can't fire me. I already quit. I don't have a job. It doesn't affect them. But I got women who have a lifestyle that they want to keep. And I get it. They've worked hard. They've done well in business. They've done well in school. They've done all the things. And they expect to have a lifestyle according to that. Makes sense. I'm not mad at them for it. You should think that way. The problem is business doesn't care. Doesn't care. AI can do your job. Bye. That's it. But to your other point, Mike, it does hurt women. But you're right, later in life. Earlier, if you look at the happiest people right now in America, it's older men and younger women. And the reverse is true. Younger men are unhappy and old women are unhappy. That's where you're finding it. That rotate. So I'm not saying it doesn't hurt women at all. I'm saying it doesn't hurt women at this age. It doesn't hurt them now. They're killing it now. If you're a young woman now, best time to be a young woman. Best time. You have the best chances of getting a job, best chance of getting educated, best chance of having friends, best chance of making money. You probably want to date older men, but best chance of having an older boyfriend if you want to date men, right? It's not bad being a woman right now. Please compare to tens of years ago, decades ago, way better. So yes. All righty. Let's go down here a couple more if I can. Rick says, I didn't have a male teacher until the 7th grade, but that was in the late 60s. Hold on. You know what? Me too. You're right. And that was 60s for me too. 70s for me. 70s for me. It was 70s for me. It was the 70s for me. And yeah, I didn't, junior high school. Math teacher. Yeah, math teacher was a male. And English teacher. Math and English were males. Yes. Yeah, math and English were males. And English teacher was clearly gay. Like stereotypical gay. But yeah. I remember that. Yep. Mike has bad needs says elementary school is 99% women. Yes, huge. It's huge. It's heavily women. Right. And again, I'm not saying you don't want women. I'm just saying, how about men here? So yes. Jeffrey says, it's true, Larry. I see it all the time in single mom situations. He needs that tough love and also teaching him respect and how to be a man. So true. It's the biggest failure of our country, destroying nuclear family. Absolutely correct. Yes. Absolutely correct. Yes. You see it everywhere. And you have a thing now. There's a thing. Maybe I'll do a show on this too. It's a TikTok thing now. Boy moms, where the boys love their sons more than their fathers, and weird, like really weird stuff. Like, I'm not making this up. This is a thing on TikTok, like getting married to their son. I'm not like, it's not real, but like doing a ceremony, and the kid's like, 10 or something, whatever. Super weird. This single mom situation that we have in America is a serious problem. I think I told you guys this. Now, statistically, if you are a child who grows up with your biological father and mother in the same household, you are now a minority. Most American children now are not raised that way. Most now. It's now majority. Yeah. So you have a bunch of single moms now, mostly single moms. I mean, there are single dads too, but it's something like 4-to-1, 3-to-1. I think 3-to-1. Single moms, single dads. It's a large chunk. There are single dads too, but there's mostly single moms. And they are not happy. Because again, older women are not happy. Young women are happy. Older women are not happy. And they're taking this out on their kids. You're seeing it everywhere. It's true. Mike has bad knees, says up to and including murder. Yes, I would go to mass murder. But yes, men will do, to the young men, anything. There's no limit. Mike is correct. There is no limit. They will do whatever. It does not matter. Yes. All right. Let's see if I can go in here for a second. And Mike goes on. He says, yep, Mike has bad news. True. Yep. Totally true. Absolutely. Yes. Phil says, Larry was like Mario Van Peebles in Heartbreak Ridge. That's funny. To be forward, Phil, I saw that movie in uniform. Yes, I was an active Marine when I came out, and I came home for leave. And when I came home for leave, my buddies who weren't Marines were like, dude, you got to come home. We're going to wear uniform. We're going to go see that Heartbreak Ridge. I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't be in uniform. Like, yeah, I wore my alphas. I wore my uniform to see that movie. So, yeah, because my friends wanted to see, we got a Marine friend watching Heartbreak Ridge. I know it's a dumb story, but it's true. I literally saw that movie wearing my uniform. Yeah. Mike Vosser now is laughing at me. But it's true. I'm not making it up. It's true. Yes. Super Weapon says, we need Coach Carter and Lean On Me type education. That would be helpful, but that's against the rules now and against the law. But yes, absolutely. 100%. Yes. Look over at Rumble P, thank you for the $1. He says, is there a Big Brother program? Can I be a mentor for a boy without a dad? and experience info on it. I know a couple of people who want to become big brothers, and I wrote reference letters for them. They would actually ask an older person in their life to write a reference letter for them. That's how, if you want to become a big brother, they do a lot of background checks, obviously. One of the things they ask for is a reference letter from an older male who you're not related to. I've actually written 2 of them. So people ask me to be there because I've coached many people, mentored many people, been a teacher for many people. So because of that, I used to teach at a couple colleges. I used to do a lot of I used to teach for a lot of city agencies for years. So all these young men or men younger than me, many of them would want to become something like that, a big brother, big sister, whatever the case may be. So they would ask me to write them a letter. So I did twice with it. So yes, you can do it. It is doable. Absolutely. So yes. So I get it right. C. Salutric, sorry. C. Salutric says, I'm 42, wife 38. Both of our parents still together. Today is my parents' 52nd anniversary. Almost none of my friends can say the same. Yeah, I'm with you, brother. It is very rare for that to happen now. The average marriage now lasts, I think, 7 years. Was it 8 years? Something like that. The average marriage lasts 7 or 8 years. Yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah. So Jazz says they don't care at all. True. They do not. You are a number and cash. Remember, in any system where you are not the customer, you will get garbage service. And remember, your kid isn't the customer. The customer is the government. The government pays them. The customer is the government. The government gives them grants. The customer is the government. Their job in school is to make the government happy, not you. You are not the customer. Now, where does that change? The wealthy. Because the wealthy all go to private schools. They write a check. They are the customer. That is why they get good service. They don't get good service because they're wealthy. They get good service because they're the customer. If you create an environment where you are the customer, your incentives are to keep the customer happy. You give them a better environment, a better everything. You get better service. That's how that works. In our healthcare system, you're not the customer. The government or the health insurance company is the customer. You're in the way. That's why you get garbage service. Except for who, Jazz? The wealthy. Because they go to private doctors and they write a check. They are the customer. They get great service. It's literally that simple. If you are not the customer, you get crappy service. That's how it works. That's why every time we need to have government do it. Great. We will guarantee crappy service. That's how it works. Guarantee it. Crappy service. Yes. You used to get terrible service at the post office. Remember that? Terrible service. For those who remember long enough, old enough, as old as me, you know, terrible service at the post office. It was a joke. There would be jokes about how bad the postal service was. Well, then FedEx came. UPS came. All of a sudden, they need you again. All of a sudden, you became the customer. Things change. So you are correct, Jazz. You have to become the customer. That's the issue. If you're not the customer, nobody cares. That's the issue. So thank you for that. Let me keep going if I can. If I can keep going down here. Here, Phil says 70K is a lawyer's salary in upstate New York. Yes, that's correct. Yes. Matt says in mid-30s, and I'd love 70K. That's my point, Matt, why so many Gen Zers are like, I'm done. I know guys who used to be in something that maybe a more academic setting or more like marketing setting or something like that, and literally left and said, I'm out. I'm gonna go be like a plumber or something. I'm gonna go build houses because I can make cash there. So I'm gonna go build houses instead. Why would I do anything else? It's dumb to not do that. Yeah, they make more money. And they gotta pay off the student debt still. I'll go back to the same thing. All right, Jazz, for you, even here, school is run by government, and so is college. Why? Because who pays for it? The government does. The government loan pays for college. So who's the customer? The government, not you. That's why college is garbage. That's why college is garbage. Except which ones? Private colleges that people have to pay their own dollars. Then you get good service. Otherwise, you get garbage service. Why? You're not the customer. Goes back to that, which is why I've always said you should have all these colleges that have all these massive endowments. All of these guys who have it. Awesome. You know what we should do? Have them finance their own tuition. In which case now they have to decide if that person is worthy of coming on in or not. And they have to make sure that guy gets a job, and that guy gets a job so they can pay it back. Change everything. You become the customer. You become the customer. That's the issue. So, yes. Andrew goes on to say, maybe I should be a welder, go to trade school for welding, fix computers, and code for hobbies, and go straight to trade school. Yes. Yes. You can still go be a welder now, dude. Because you graduated in 2016. So you graduated 9 years ago. That makes you, what, 27? Plenty of time, dude. Plenty of time. Plenty of time, man. Yeah. Go be a welder right now. AI may one day replace welding. It's possible AI will replace welding one day. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not next year. One day it might. And if it does replace it, because you're already in the computers, you'll be able to run the AI that does the welding. So even if one day AI does replace you, you'll be able to fix it. That's the piece. So yes, 100%. So just to be clear, yes, indeed. All righty. Let's see if I can grab some of these. Patty says, so Larry, AI children is our future. Yes, they literally wrote that movie. I wrote the book in the movie. It was literally called AI. It had that the kid from I See Dead People in it. I forgot that guy's name. That kid was in it. Yes, he was an AI kid. That they wrote about that years ago. 100%. There's my other issue. If these boys check out and they don't want to have girlfriends and boyfriends, what are they going to have? AI boyfriends and girlfriends. AI kids. Right? Maybe they won't be a cat lady. Maybe she won't buy a cat. She'll buy an AI kid. In that movie, literally called AI. What's that? I forgot the kid's name. Hold on. Now I forgot. He's got 3 names. The kids, and he got arrested or something. I remember that. Hold on. Where was did I mess up? I can't find it. Hold on. He was also in. Hold on. The Sixth Sense. I know he has 3 names. I'm going to forget his name. There we go. Haley Joel Osment. There we go. Yeah, I know 3 names. Some kid with 3 names. That guy. He was in that movie AI. So yes, literally true. Yes. Robert says, what happens if women matriculate into the trades as well? Is this space inherently more egalitarian, or would men get angry about that as well? Women won't. Robert, they just won't. They just won't. Will some women? Yes. But women don't want those types of jobs. They just don't. Right? Most women don't. So will some? Yes. And there are some women welders. There absolutely are. There are women in trades, just by percentage much lower. Generally speaking, you're looking at something like 70-30, 80-20, depending upon the trade. Some like 90-10, depends on the trade. But you're never going to get more than 30% of women in any given trade. Many of them as low as 10%. But some will go, and it's good, right? Look, no judgment. You do you. If you like that kind of work, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, go do it. Is it more egalitarian? 100%. Is there more of a meaning equality in number of? No, and it never will be, right? There's never going to be more male nurses than female nurses. There's lots of male nurses, and people want to be nurses. Good for you, lots of them. But there's always going to be more female, because more females want to go into that field compared to men. And when it comes to trades, more men want to go into that field compared to women. But you'll find some. Is it more egalitarian? Meaning, can a woman get promoted and have success? I think yes. The problems to worry about, what a woman wants to worry about, is it's going to be a heavily male-dominated society. Just like how men often feel very odd in education. That's why so many of them left. So also HR. HR is filled with women and feminine men. Filled with it. I deal with HR all the time. Filled with them. Are there some masculine men in HR? There are some, but most of them feel awkward in that regard, in that area, because it's so feminized. Education's so feminized. So many men feel awkward and don't want to work there. Women have a similar issue. A lot of them don't want to work in these heavily male-dominated societies. Some do, but yes, it is more egalitarian, but I just don't think you're going to have the same. You're not going to have 50-50. If that makes any sense. And you shouldn't. We shouldn't be forcing that. We'll let people do what they think is appropriate. Yeah, absolutely. All right. John says, Larry, you got me pitching Hogan in a Darth Vader outfit, shaking your fist, screaming the Empire will have order. Yes, absolutely. Yes, 100%. Kim says, no way I would bring a child to a mess like this. I know. I hear it. Patty says, my kids have said that. Why bring innocent children into this world? I hear it. Patty, it's heartbreaking for me. And I take it like I have failed them. And that's how I feel. Maybe I shouldn't, but I do feel that, right? I feel like I'm part of that failed them, that we have an environment that is not going well at all. I can't stand it. I don't blame, again, I don't blame them, but wow. Yes. Mastermind Hour says, I dropped out of high school, ended up teaching at the collegiate level. Yeah. I'm with you, right? I tell people all the time, and they never believe me. They never believe me. I say, unless you have a plan, your college degree is irrelevant. Your high school diploma is irrelevant unless you have a plan. That makes sense. If you just want to do things, get out of high school and move on. You'll be fine. Go to college if you want to. I didn't go to college until I was 21. And I finished my college in 2 years. I was a full-time Marine when I did it. And I got a degree. It's going to be great. I got only a undergrad degree. Got it in 2 years from University of Maryland. You might go University of Maryland. I mean, I'm not mad at Maryland, but nobody goes University of Maryland. Oh my God. No one does that. They go University of Maryland. That's a college. Yes, it is. It is. Yes. And that's true. It's college. And I got a degree from them. That's true. And I paid almost nothing for it because I was an active Marine. I paid like $100 a class or something like that. I mean, hardly anything for the thing. It was dirt cheap. So I got my degree, and eventually I actually got the graduate level at both Yale and Columbia. I don't have a graduate degree, and I taught networking, business. My degree is in anthropology. Yeah, and it's common. Like that's not an uncommon thing. So I'm with you, Mastermind. I'm totally with you. It's not an uncommon thing. Absolutely. So Mike Has Bad Knees says, the solution is what King Rando is doing. King Randall, for those who don't know, is amazing. I met him at, where did I meet him? I met him at a Maj Touré event in Florida, like 4 years ago, 3 years, 3 years ago, maybe. He's amazing. Actually, I have one of his videos I have one of his videos on my Sharpe show from 2-3 years back. Olivia Rondu, I sent her down there, and he's in Maryland, Georgia. There we go, Georgia. I knew he was in the South somewhere. Georgia, he's in Georgia. I sent her down there to go do a little thing on him. It was great. King Randall's amazing, and he's young. He's like 28 or something, or 30. He's young, and he's basically taking boys in. You're absolutely correct, taking boys in, and he's basically teaching them trades. He lets them live in his house. Just come. I will teach you stuff. I will be your big brother. I will be your male role model. Just come. And he's got like 10, 15 boys in his area. Just, fix this, do that, work here, go on a farm, fix the car, all that stuff. 100%. That program needs to be replicated. You are 100% correct. Yes. King Randall, if you Google him, you will see what he does. He's amazing. You are correct, Mike. Great. And a great guy too. Like if you meet him, he's not full of himself at all. He's very down to earth. He's very serious about what he's got to be doing. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So thank you for bringing him up. I like him a lot. He's very savvy, very good. Morgan says there is a badge of honor for being a bad guy. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Mike says she is in such screaming Karen mode that many will ignore this video. She makes the argument unpalatable. Yes and no. She's a young Australian and her audience is young, Mike. Her audience isn't me. Her audience is us, right? We can't hear her, but it doesn't matter. That's not who she's talking to. I picked this up because I'm looking for something that I thought was interesting and that will keep you guys thinking about it. That's why I picked this specific video. And she's in it. Like she's like 25 or something. She's young, 23, whatever. So she's just out of high school. So because she's so young and this is like her world, I thought it'd be a better video. But she's talking to 20-something and younger girls. That's her audience. I mean, she's actually pretty popular. She gets like 200,000 views, 100,000 views per video. So she's pretty popular. But again, she's not talking to me and you, Mike. You probably never heard of her before. I assume you haven't. And you probably will never see her ever again except in this show, unless I bring her up again. So yeah, she's not her audience. I get your point, but we weren't going to hear her anyway. So she has a very different audience. That's all. All righty. Phil says, these kids are like the old men in Shawshank Redemption. They've been institutionalized. I think most of America has been. Good point. Yeah. Good point. Grace says, Todd Pods. Ah, yes, the glory days. So glad to be Gen X. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Liberty Lady says, do you guys remember when kids and adults were doing that stupid milk crate challenge where they stacked the crates really high to climb them like stairs? I do remember that. Yes, I do. Yeah, there've been a bunch of them, but most of them weren't crimes. Like, this is a crime. So, yeah, this is a crime. That's the only difference. Yeah. All righty. Americua over on Rumble says, but you never bring kids into this world. That day's world will change. And historically, it will be better, even for a longer term. I hope so, right? I want my daughters to bring kids into this world because here's what I say. It's kind of silly. If we don't, who will? It's what I often say to people who I'm coaching when they're leaders. And I ask them, I say, okay, this thing you have to get done. If you don't do it, who will? And if they can go, oh, well, Bob could do it or Jane could do it. Okay, great. Let's delegate this out and get them to do it. How do we figure this out? How do we train them to make it happen? Okay, great. If they go, well, then nobody. Well, then you're doing it. So stop being angry. If you don't have someone who can do it, you're doing it. And if you haven't trained anybody, that's your fault. Train somebody to do it. But either way, it's got to get done. And my view is people who want to fix things have to have children, because if your children don't fix it, who will? There's a part of me that thinks that about running for office. If I don't run, who will? And I think we say that often. So yeah, I'm with you. Mahima Gabriel says, what is the name of the AI movie? Literally, it's called AI. Let's see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure it's Haley Joel Osment AI. I'm pretty sure it's actually called AI. Yeah, it's literally called AI Artificial Intelligence. That's literally the name of the movie. It is, you can watch it on Amazon Prime, Google Play, Apple TV. You can still watch it. It was made 2001. So it's about a 24-year-old movie, 2001. So 24 years ago, they had this already, Patty. 24 years ago, they wrote the movie on this. They made a movie on AI kids. So yeah, already there. Like, they saw you coming, or you saw them coming. Somebody saw somebody coming. So yes. Kim says, I can beat the cinnamon challenge. Did it? I can too. I'm with you on that one. That I thought was interesting. That was hard. But yeah, that was challenging. But those weren't crimes. Again, those weren't crimes. So JGJ says, so many teachers are quitting the profession within a year. Yes. And the biggest issue is not the kids. That is an issue. The biggest issue when people leave is administrators. The teachers feel handcuffed. They can't do anything to solve anything because they're so overwhelmed with paperwork and bureaucracy. They can't take care of anything. Yeah, you're correct. Now, again, we have a shortage of teachers. Shortage everywhere. Teachers, by the way. Teachers are in a shortage in almost every state. There's a shortage. People don't want to go into this field. I don't blame them. And here's the worst part. Once they go into this field, say you're a good teacher, JG, so you head into that, you're a good teacher, you care about your kids, and you got some administrator coming in, making you do all these things, treating you like garbage, making twice what you make. Let me say that again, making double your salary. You say to yourself, why am I doing this? I'll become administrator. I'll make double the salary, and I'll push teachers around, because they get pushed around, I'll push them around. You do that. That's what happens. So the best teachers go, I'm not going to teach. That's for a chump. I'm going to leave because I can't take it. I'll become administrator and make double the money. And when I say double, I mean double. In New York State, the average teacher makes about $70,000 to $80,000 a year. Again, living wage in New York State. This is, some parts of New York City, that's tough. And it's skewed by New York City. So it's a little bit lower outside of New York City. But it's still a living wage in my state. If you're a teacher, you're making a living wage in my state. You're not buying a second house, right? You're not living large, but you're paying your bills. If you're a teacher in New York State, you are doing that. But if you're an administrator, you make double. There are administrators in my state that make over $400,000 a year. Again, I wish I was joking. I don't think any teachers make that kind of money in my state. I don't think any make that. Administrators, $400K a year. Why didn't we teach her? Yes. It's crazy. So anyway, Liberty Lady says stealing soap dispensers in the bathroom too. Yes, they were stealing all types of things. That was a crazy thing. Yes, that was a crazy thing. Yes. So all nutty old things all the thing they've been doing is nuts. So alrighty. Phil says, I got an advanced reason diploma. Shut your mouth. So you got extra double wasted time. And he goes on to say, didn't help me any. Correct. So you doubly wasted your time. Good, I guess. I remember, I tell this story often. There's people trying to get jobs, and one woman was trying to tell me how wrong I was. And she was saying, "Wow, you don't understand. You know, I need to get paid a good salary." I'm like, "Okay, why?" I have 2 master's degrees. And I was like, "So you were dumb enough to spend money for 2 master's degrees, and I got to pay for that? I'm not paying for that. That's just your stupidity." And she's just like taken aback. I'm like, "Yeah, what? You were dumb enough to go get 2 master's degrees without any plan." Now, again, are there reasons to get 2 master's degrees? There are. I'm not against getting 2 master's degrees, but it's because you have a plan that makes sense to use those degrees. That's smart and savvy. But you just thought I'm more valuable because I wasted more money? That's you being an idiot. That's not my employer's problem. You have to have a reason, right? Are you going to a specific field where these master's degrees will be valuable? Are you working for a company that respects that? Are you going to and you're working for the government? The government loves master's degrees. You work for the government. Makes sense. They love it. They pay you more for it. Are you going to academia? They pay you more for that. Please, makes total sense. If you're working for the government or academia, get 6 master's degrees. I'm not even joking. Get a doctorate too. They will pay you more for that. They will give you more respect. That makes total sense. But you're just getting them to get them? That's just insane. That makes no sense to me at all. Why would you do that? I'm sorry. Unless you just want to have them for personal something, great. But if you think someone's going to pay because you went and spent a bunch of money, they don't care about that. Remember, your company doesn't care about you. I don't mean to be mean when I say these things. I just don't want people, I want you to go in with your eyes open. Company doesn't care about you. They don't care at all. Well, I got 3 master's degrees. Guess you got a lot of debt then. Good luck with that. That's it. There we go. So, Mastermind says, me too, 7th grade, then goes, nope, 5th grade, 1979. Yeah, no, it was 7th grade for me. Before I had a male administrator. Like some of our principals and vice principals were male. Some of them were. They were like the disciplinarians of those schools. They were some of those. So yeah, absolutely. Robert says, I wonder how many households relying on the income of the Black women. A lot, brother. A lot. This is going to affect the Black community heavily because you and I both know a lot. Black people in general already disproportionately live on income alone in a time where family wealth determines outcomes. True. Everything you just said is correct. Yes, it will be a lot. And here's the worst part. Here's a part that might, in the long run, help. Might. If enough men shift into trades, men will be able to have a lot of jobs that will make decent money. If women don't want to go into those trades or can't either one, there may be decent salaries in these trades because the men will be, there'll be less men for these jobs. That makes any sense. You add the technology piece, men tend to be better at technology also as a demographic, right? Obviously, there are very talented women in technology, but as a demographic, more men will be more interested in better technology also. If that happens, you may find a situation to where men are starting to actually make good money. That starts happening because right now, women make more than men. At under 30, women make far more than men. That might swap. If that swaps, you might see marriages that young people starting to swap. Larry, is it all about money? Often it is. Even Matt just said so, right? If you're a man who is struggling and making $30,000 a year, you're not going to get married. I mean, women aren't going to want you because they're making more than you. And you're not going to feel strong around that woman because you're not making more than her. That's just how it works. You can say it's sexist. I don't care. It's just true. It's how it works. But if now all of a sudden you can make 70, 80, 90 grand and she's can't get a job, she might be like, okay, you look a whole lot better than me all of a sudden. That might start happening. Now all of a sudden you look good to me. You didn't look so good when I was making 70K and you were making 30, but now you're making 90 and I don't have a job. You just got better looking. Oh man, you handsome. I didn't know how handsome you were, Rob. I had no idea. So that might start happening. So perhaps that will work, but it might not. You might have a situation where women say, no, I went to college and I did everything right. And if I can't get the job that I want, then I'm going to have nothing. That could happen too. That could happen too. I hope we start getting back together because of this. I hope that's a good outcome, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So, Robert says you're not supposed to live on one lifetime alone. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Robert says divorce rates have actually declined recently. That's true. And I think because marriage is very different. A lot of people, the young ones specifically, are looking at marriage only as a contract. Like they don't even think that it's like for life. They don't even care. They're done. And fewer people are getting married in general. So those who are getting married now are much more intentional by percentage, right? Some people still just fall in love and get married. So it happens. But many are much more calculating. So they're either like, no. I'm aware that we are both going to be married. We're both maybe have the same religion. We believe in this religiously. It's a covenant with God, that type. Those people are going to stay together longer because they have an outside force holding them together. That's one part. The second part is people saying, look, this is it's just a contract. That's all it is. And we're not necessarily in love, but we want to work together. So we stay together. That's happening also. That's the idea of you're seeing a lot more open marriages now. They're like, look, we're together because we need to be together. But, this monogamy thing, that ain't going to work. So some of that's happening too. So the highest divorce rates, though, for those of you who don't know, are among lesbian couples. And the lowest divorce rate is among gay men. Gay men have the lowest divorce rate. Gay women have the highest divorce rate. So it's an interesting little tidbit. So, all righty. I'll keep going here. Patty says, isn't 70K considered middle class now? Yes, in most cases. Yes, absolutely. Joel says, become a welder, buy a bulldozer. You're not wrong on that, Joel. If you have the cash, if you're in a spot where you can purchase some equipment, you can make some cash. I know a couple guys who are doing that now. Like they purchased, some large piece of equipment that people need, and they either do it themselves or they lease it out. Yeah, that's a thing. You are right. That is a thing. Yes, 100%. Gray says, I've met several European academics/professors who are shocked at how dumb Ivy League PhD candidates are compared to the European candidates. U.S. colleges suck. True, they do. And I've taught two of them. And I wouldn't hire most people I taught. I'm with you. Yes, absolutely. You're not wrong. Morgan says, are you talking about the movie Her? Oh, the other one. Yeah, movie Her. Thank you. Morgan, thank you for that. The movie Her, for those who don't know, is a guy who falls in love with an AI girlfriend on his phone, is it, or something? Right, yeah. That's different. That was relatively recent. That's what, 5 years ago, give or take? Hold on, that's like 5 years ago. AI was like 25 years ago. The movie Her, that was like 5 years ago or so. Is that right? I'm trying to remember when that one came out. Wow, 12 years ago. I'm way off. That was 2013. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So that was like 12 years ago. That was a movie about a guy falling in love with an AI, and that was 12 years ago. So they knew that. This is what I'm telling you. They knew this a long time ago. Yes, a long time ago. Kim says Flashdance was a female. Well, that's right. She was. So it does exist, right? There are females who want to do it. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. But just very few. That's all. Very few. But yes, there absolutely are those. 100%. Gray says many vets are going to nursing. Several have told me that they can't be left alone working in the ER or ICU on a third shift. Most were docs in the Navy or Army medics. Yeah, you can't be in the Marine Corps. Marine Corps cannot have, Marine Corps borrows all of its docs, all of its medical personnel, and chaplains from the Navy. If you're a chaplain in the Marine Corps, you are borrowed from the Navy. The reason is the Marine Corps, every Marine is a rifleman. No matter what, you're a rifleman, which means medics can't be riflemen, so they can't be Marines. Chaplain can't be riflemen, therefore they can't be Marines. So that's why Marine Corps has no chaplains and has no medical personnel. They're borrowed from the Navy. That's true. So absolutely. All righty. Mike says, studies in Sweden found that all things equal, without government intervention, men and women naturally gravitate towards different types of jobs that defy sociological imperatives. Michael's 100% correct here. The reality here is in places like the Nordic countries, Scandinavia, they're much more egalitarian, right? That you can do whatever you want. They're much more open culturally, government-wise. And women still tend to do certain jobs and men still do certain jobs. It's just natural, and it's not a problem. Somehow we've decided that it has to be 50-50. No, there should be equal opportunity for the women who want to go in those positions. Please go. For those who don't, please don't. For men who want to become nurses, please go. For those who don't. I'm with you, Mike. I've seen those studies. It's absolutely true. Yes. Michael says, no offense, but in my trade, I've never worked with a woman who can contribute as much as the men physically. Most women can't do hard labor and lack adequate strength to lift heavy objects. That's true. A lot of women can, but some don't. I have seen women in the Marine Corps. I've seen women who are stronger than the average man, and those who absolutely cannot carry the weight. I think it's true. I think you want to have standards. And the problem is you want to have standards for your industry where those are. What I never liked about the military is the military had separate standards for women. And that was bothering me. If you want to be a woman in the Marine Corps, that's fine. You want to be a woman in the Army, that's fine, whatever. But standards are the same, right? They're not. They should be. Can you run 3 miles in this time period? You can't? Well, then you can't run with me, can you? Can you do X number of pull-ups, push-ups? Are you this strong? Well, then you can't carry me if I take a round, can you? I take a round to my gut. Can you carry me back? You can't. That's a problem. So my point is keep whatever standards are required, whatever those standards are. Don't make them so high that women can't get on purpose. That would be unfair. But whatever the minimum is, and what women can do it, women can do it. Oh, good. There's women who are hardcore and tough. To your point, not many, right? Relative to men. Again, relative to men, but some will. And look, if a woman wants this job and it's tough, she'll get in the gym and she'll get tough if she wants the job. Or she doesn't want it enough, which is also okay. So yeah, there we go. Nathan says, yes, this world may be messed up, but my home is not. My church is not. Oh, Nathan, that's very sweet. My wife and I have a child, and we'll have more because this world needs more intelligent, grounded, well-formed people. Bingo, you win. Nathan wins tonight. Yes, that is true. Because if people like Nathan don't have children, who's going to have them? Probably not the people who can say their home is not messed up or their church is not messed up. So, yes, Nathan, you win. Well done. Absolutely true. Yes. 100%. I love what you're saying. 100%. Yes. All righty. JG says, to be honest, a weak nation is one that puts vulnerable women on the front lines. Yeah. Yeah. It's trouble. It's trouble. I agree. Yes. Phil brings up the most important piece. We lost 5 years in the pandemic. The lockdowns crushed us. I completely agree. The lockdowns crush us. The damage done, yeah. The damage done has been terrible. Yes. Phil says, divorce rates were always skewed by serial monogamists. Also true. Many people were getting married multiple times. So they get married 3 times and fail 3 times. That's true. Yes. Now they don't get married anymore. Also true. They just don't get married. Many people get married once and then stop. Duke of Hex. Oh, no, you're still in trouble. Lesbian divorce rates proves women are hard to live with, right? Take what you want from that one, Duke. I'm not stepping in that one. Take what you want from that. That's all I'm going to say. Yes. Take what you want. So there we go. Absolutely. 100%. Mastermind says, I double majored in computer science and a BFA in graphic design. And that was one of the first fodder for AI. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. It is crazy. Patty says, this show has made me think. Thank you. I'll be having some conversation about this one. Oh, you just made my night. You and Nathan made my night tonight. Awesome. You know, I haven't even told you this. Hold on. I got to say this, guys. Click the like button. I've been so busy yapping. I didn't do my mandatory do stuff. I got to do mandatory do stuff because if you don't, I'm never going to grow. I need you guys to help me grow. So please click the button known as like. If you have not done so, do so now at this moment. If you like what Patty and Nathan said, click like. If you don't click like, you don't like Patty. Why would you not like Patty? She's wonderful. What's wrong with you? Click like. Not just that. Share this or repost it. If you have not shared this someplace, put it into a Facebook group. Share it on X. Do whatever it takes. And always, if you can, please follow me on X. Follow me on Facebook. If you can, Rumble. I'm trying to get more people on Rumble. If you want to head over there for a bit, that's also good. If you have not, please subscribe to the Sharpe Way YouTube page. And when you subscribe, click all notifications. This way you get notified every time I go live. It does matter. I appreciate all those super chats, of course. Membership does matter, guys. The more members I have, the less daytime work I have to do, and the more of this I can do. I'd like to be doing more shows if I can. I try to, but it can be challenging. I still have to work and pay my bills. So if you can, please become a member. $49 per month. Click that join button if you would. You can do so. But by the way, for those who are on Facebook, you might say, well, Larry, I like watching you on Facebook. You can become a subscriber on Facebook. You can. Click subscribe on Larry Sharpe Facebook. If you're watching me on Larry Sharpe Facebook, click subscribe. It's $1.99 per month. It's actually cheaper on Facebook. Facebook's cheaper. I don't know why, but it is. So you can, Facebook's $1.99. So you can do Facebook if you want to. So go to Facebook, do that. If you double love me, do both because you double love me. I hope you all double love me. If you do, please do that. But every bit counts. It does matter. Become a member there. It's all good. I do appreciate all the help I can possibly get. So please do that if you can. I appreciate that. So, all right, let me see if I can grab here again. Dean says, I feel like I'm just waking up again after the pandemic. It crushed me. But it's all looking up. Mindset's everything. True. Absolutely. I do see that completely. Guys, I want you to understand something. The algorithm loves if after this is over, you actually, after it's over, please go ahead and put a comment down if you would. A comment if you would down underneath after it's over. Peace being good to me on Rumble, gifting a subscription. Guys, please, if you can, gift a membership. If you can, please grab it. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Remember our rule on gifted memberships. If you make $2 million per month, you may not take it. If you make less than $2 million a month, you may. So whoever took it, I hope you made less than $2 million per month. If you make more than $2 million a month, pay the $49. You make $2 million. Do it. Any case, after this is over, please put a comment. The question I'm going to ask you, what do you think about our current K through 12 education? What's going on? How can we fix it? What do you think about our current K through 12 education? Please put that in a comment once this is over. It is important. And if this is not live, when you're watching it, 2 videos going to pop up. Click one of them. Watch for at least 8 minutes. Algo loves that too. I will see you all tomorrow, 1 p.m. And again at 7. I'll see you all very soon.